If somebody asked you if you wanted to play a video game about lawyers, how would you respond to that? Oh yeah, let's play a video game where we talk about real estate law, do paperwork, and return home exhausted from a 6 straight 12-hour shift. However, Phoenix Wright will make you a believer. Today, I'll be reviewing the Phoenix Wright Trilogy, those being the first 3 games and not Investigations, Apollo Justice, etc. So what exactly is the Phoenix Wright Trilogy? Well, they include Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the sequel, Justice for All, and its sequel, Trials and Tribulations. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just number them either, but these are 3 DS titles that were originally released on the GBA in Japan in the early 2000s, but became a surprise hit when Capcom released them here in North America. These games follow the cases of Phoenix Wright, a rookie defense attorney who has to learn the ins and outs of the job, solving cases, finding the real culprit, and saving the day. The games all work on the exact same engine, and they have very similar gameplay elements, so I can cover them all in this review. Let's start with the main characters. You have Phoenix Wright, the player-controlled protagonist who's not always a badass like Harvey Specter, and certainly no outright moral hero like Atticus Finch. Phoenix Wright is a regular guy, aside from that absurd hair, but the point is that he isn't a genius. He's inexperienced, he gets his sorry ass handed to him a lot, and he always gets the short end of the stick. However, that's also what makes him a great character. He has an ability to organize himself, turn around the situation, and uncover the truth despite all the odds being placed against him. He doesn't initially know what he's doing, and he sometimes needs help from others, but by the end of the trilogy, he's learned to fight for himself, and he's grown as a defense lawyer and as a person. Add on the realistic, sarcastic humor, and you get a fantastic character who's fun to watch and rewarding to play as when he gets into badass mode. There's Mia Fey, a spirit medium turned lawyer who's Wright's mentor. I'm not going to say the obvious, but she's probably winning all her cases for reasons other than her skills as a defense lawyer. There's also her younger sister, Maya, who acts as Phoenix's assistant, and is also a psychic because in a logical, realistic game about the law, you need psychics. Anyway, Maya is very simple, energetic, and usually lends a helping hand when she's not distinguishing a stepladder from a ladder. There's Detective Gumshoe, a clumsy, luckless officer who never catches a break, and despite not having a good head on his shoulders, at least he's got a good heart and always provides laughs. And you have the judge, who, despite being a complete airhead and naive, somehow always manages to make the right decision and is, again, absolutely hilarious. Now for the opponents, the prosecutors. We have Miles Edgeworth, the archetypical rival. He's no rival because he's wearing red and you're wearing blue! Who's cold, ruthless, and distant, but also becomes more of an ally later on. In Justice for All, the main prosecutor is Franziska von Karma, a blue-haired, cold-as-ice prosecutor who has a flawless record and is bent on revenge and winning the case at all costs. While Trials and Tribulations features Godot, a masked man always drinking black coffee, spouting philosophy, and he has a certain grudge against Phoenix Wright. Those are the reoccurring characters in the trilogy, and I can honestly spend a whole day talking to you about each and every Phoenix Wright character and why they're so awesome. Pretty much every single person you meet is wacky and hilarious, or sympathetic, or detestable, but at the very least, they're all memorable. These characters are the heart of the game, and it helps that this is some of the best writing I have seen in a video game, thanks to an incredible translation job. The dialogue is absolutely hilarious, and the characters are all fleshed out wonderfully. Although the characters themselves don't have voice actors, the text is actually masterfully designed to have a voice of its own. Like, look at this. See? The tone, inflections, everything is pretty much told right through the sound of the text. It's amazing. The story, or stories, are also done incredibly well. Most of the cases are standalone, but they do follow a rather chronological order. The first game has 5 cases, the second game has 4, and the third has 5 again. And each and every case has a setup and a culprit, where somebody innocent usually gets nailed for murder, Phoenix agrees to defend them, and then the game alternates between trials and investigations and what are basically big whodunit stories. I can't go over every case in the game, but I will say that the final cases in each game are all amazing, and the only case I didn't like in the entire trilogy was the second case of the second game. A circus mystery with a pretty brutal leap in logic, but even then, it's still pretty good. Of the 3 games, the first one is excellent, the second one has a few more flaws and is a little more difficult than the others, though it's still highly recommended, and the third game is the best of them all in my opinion, with story-driven cases and a finale that's pretty much perfect in my mind. The story within each game is about the struggle of these characters, and they delve into questions about death, revenge, morality, and the overarching plot about Phoenix's growth as a lawyer and a person, and these are all done fantastically. Besides that, the games are also some of the funniest I've played, with the chemistry between the characters being the comedic focus. In fact, you'll get an incredible range of emotions while playing these games, going from laughing, to feeling like a badass, to biting your nails, to being scared, crying, then laughing again. It can't be said enough. The stories and characters of these games are some of the best in any game I've ever played, and the emotional response that this game can muster from you really gets you invested. But does the gameplay match the level of greatness? Let's check it out. So you have your pretty basic mystery-like adventure game as the premise of Phoenix Wright, but the gameplay is where things start to deviate from the norm. The game is split into 2 parts: your investigation scenes and your trial scenes. Investigations have you exploring the scene of a crime and other important areas, looking for clues and talking to suspects. These investigations are, sadly, the worst part of the game, being incredibly linear and somewhat tedious as you have to examine everything and talk to everyone. Thankfully, the monotony is avoided thanks to the aforementioned witty dialogue and banter between Phoenix and Maya. Besides, having the investigations in between the trial scenes make the court battles even more effective when you get to them. Once you've found everything you've needed, the game switches to court scenes, where you fight to defend your client and prove them innocent. And it's here where the creativity of this series really starts to kick off. Witnesses against your client will offer testimony, as you, the lawyer, can cross-examine them, pressing them for more information. What you're on the lookout for is a contradiction, a time when you have a piece of evidence that catches this witness in a lie. It's then that you can highlight that piece of evidence that you found, and then yell into the DS mic like a maniac. Objection! You proceed through a scripted case, using logic and deduction to figure out who the real culprit is, how they committed the crime, and why. Of course, the prosecutors on the other side are ruthless, looking for any way to cut you down, and you can only be wrong so many times before it's case closed. Yeah, the game has a penalty system, but it's kind of useless because you can save whenever you want. So, if anything, it's more of a time waster. Anyway, sometimes you'll have to make crucial decisions, point out contradictions in pictures and such, and think outside of the box to solve these crimes. This is one of the most creative games I've played, in that you have to use the evidence as your weapons in a puzzle-like fashion. But this does lead to one major problem, which is more of a result of the game painting itself into a corner than anything else. Sometimes you'll present a piece of evidence that you know could prove a point, but the game has a different idea in mind and requires a different piece of evidence. The reason why I can't blame the developers for this is because no 2 people think the exact same, especially when it comes to court cases. In something like Super Mario Bros., if there's a gap, the game expects you to know that you have to jump across it, not think outside of the box by grabbing a ladder or building a bridge. Phoenix Wright expects you to think critically, but this freedom means that you may outthink the game at some points, because, like a real court case, there are literally 1,000 angles to take. But this is a video game, so they're looking for one straight answer. The cases also have some lacks in logic occasionally, and it's then when you can get into a dreadful trial and error phase, but fortunately, these don't happen that often. Other than that, there's nothing quite like that great moment of epiphany when you find the truth and take that snarky look off your opponent's face. In terms of difficulty, it's tough to judge these games. They certainly aren't easy. It really depends on how much you pay attention and think critically. It'll get your brain going for sure, and I found it to be a lot of fun. The length of each game is a little weak, only clocking in at roughly 10 hours for each, with basically no replay value because most of the fun is in the big dramatic twists. I can't complain because it is quality over quantity, and each game will leave you satisfied. The graphics in the game are pretty damn good. Although there weren't a large amount of character animations in this visual novel-like game, we do get very expressive ones that are fun to look at. Each character has a colorful and memorable design, and the games have some cool animations. I do think they could have put at least a little more effort into the locations and backgrounds, and they definitely could have improved things from sequel to sequel, but there still isn't much to complain about here. The music is outstanding. I honestly wish you guys could understand how difficult it was for me to pick the musical pieces for this review, because they are so damn good. There are catchy songs, triumphant songs, silly songs, depressing songs, everything. There's such a wide range of instrumentation too, with songs sounding like they could be on an 8-bit console, and others that sound modern. These songs are so memorable and kind of popular that they've been remixed, made into jazz pieces, orchestrated, and it's all amazing stuff. The best thing I can say is, make space on your iPod. In conclusion, the Phoenix Wright Trilogy are some of my favorite games of all time. They have extraordinary characters, fantastic writing, fun gameplay, great graphics, legendary music, epic moments, sad moments, and everything in between. I do acknowledge that there are some flaws with the games, but none of them are deal breakers, and nothing really takes away from the overall experience. Perhaps I'm blinded a little bit by my nostalgia and my own ambitions to pursue a career in law, but the Phoenix Wright games are some of the only games I can truly say rocked my world and changed me as a person. If that's too much of an overstatement, just know that any praise you've heard about these games and the series is likely warranted, and I recommend these games to anybody in their mid-teens to even adults looking for a good challenge and fun gameplay. I look forward to the rest of the series, and I have no objections about telling you to go play these games. Thanks for watching.